Todd, it's Michael, Don, and Peter. How you doing, man?
I'm great. How you guys doing tonight?
We're doing okay. I read that the Rams have not told who they're going to pick, that they're going to pick them. What's the sense behind this? Now, you and your mock draft have Jared Goff going there. Why are the Rams playing their hand this way?
I don't know that the league has specifically said do not tell the player, but I think that there's some push to try to keep it keep it hush-hush, to keep it whatever little tiny bit of drama is left. I mean, it seems like the worst-kept secret in the history of the NFL draft.
Okay. All right, so let's talk.
I mean, I don't have a better. I wish I had a better answer or something. I think the league wants it to be announced. And from everything I'm told, though, the reality is these kids don't know. They both, Jared Goff and Carson Wentz, both have the same agent. They've been training together. They have done everything together, kind of in this pre-draft process. And they think they know, kind of like the rest of us, but neither of them has been tipped off, and they're waiting, and the teams have not spoken to either of them about being the pick yet.
And what I find amazing about that, Todd, is that the Eagles moved heaven and earth to move the number 2, and they sincerely then don't know who they're taking. So they must love both quarterbacks equally.
I don't know. I tend to think that they have the information and that they believe, again, just like the rest of us. I will be absolutely blown away if it's Carson Wentz tonight. And not that I actually would take Carson Wentz over Goff slightly. I don't think there's a big difference in them in terms of grade, but just everything I've heard from everyone in and around, I just think that it's kind of a done deal that it goes Goff then Wentz, and I think that information that Goff was going to go 1, and I truly believe that Philadelphia liked Wentz more, and when they knew Goff was going 1, that they moved up to that number 2 spot.
So we've seen 2 teams that are in the top of this draft trade to get there. So if I'm looking in and didn't watch anything or know anything, I would think that 2 special quarterbacks are on the board. Are there 2 special quarterbacks? Are these 2 guys that you think 10 years down the road we're talking about franchise movers?
It's a fair question. I'll say this. They don't have the grade that Andrew Luck had. I don't give them the same grade as Jameis Winston had. In my opinion, I was a little bit lower on Marcus Mariota than most people last year. I think they're slightly below Mariota, but in that same neighborhood. And I give them a similar grade to Blake Bortles and to Teddy Bridgewater. And so, they're not the exceptionally gifted, but they're not that far off. And I think in both of their cases, they have physical tools, mental aptitude, mental toughness that some of those elite guys had coming out. I think with both of them, it's more of a question of just the background and experience. With Goff, he has the experience, but he played in an air raid system that has never produced an NFL quarterback. I mean, we're talking about, Mike Leach, Hal Mumme, the Texas Tech spread, Hal Mumme obviously dating back to Kentucky with Tim Couch, and he's the most high-profile quarterback that's ever come out of that system, and he was a bust in a hurry. So that's probably the biggest concern, that and the lack of ideal size with Jared Goff. But he physically, when you watch the tape, he's really good. He's really, really good, and he sees things that most guys don't see, fast processing information, extremely accurate throwing the ball. Carson Wentz, on the other hand, is big, strong, mobile, more mobile than Goff. They both have good arms. He's very accurate. He's a gamer and clutch. But he played 23 games, started 23 games in his career, and at the FCS level in a program that won 3 national championships without him, was undefeated when he got injured this past year. So it's easy to pick holes in these guys because of the experience and the backgrounds, and I think that's what's preventing all of us from raising up their grade, if you will, a little bit. But it won't surprise me at all, especially given the situations that they're going into as high picks, if they're both very, very successful quarterbacks at the next level.
We're talking with Todd McShay here on the Michael Kay Show. The NFL Draft is tonight. All right, let me ask you this, Todd. Everything I've ever read, and you're a proponent of this as well, this is a passing league, and you should never take a running back with a high first-round draft pick. But in your mock draft, and everybody seems to think that the Cowboys are biting on Ezekiel Elliott. So why are they ignoring what everybody believes to be a fact that you should never take a running back that high?
Well, there's exceptions to rules.
Okay.
And I've always said Mel doesn't have an exception to a rule, and some teams do, some teams don't. I think there are exception to rule players, and I also think it has to be the right situation. Now, if I'm a team that wants to run the football and it is going to be we want to win with defense and be a physical football team that runs the ball and sets up the vertical passing game like the Baltimore Ravens, what they want to be. The emphasis becomes a little bit different. And then, again, we've had 2 in a row with Todd Gurley last year and Ezekiel Elliott this year. Gurley was a more talented, gifted, pure runner. I think they're both really good pass catchers. And I think with Gurley, he was solid in pass protection. This guy, Ezekiel Elliott, is an absolute maniac. I mean, he's the best blocker I've ever seen at the running back position coming out. So, I would really struggle to do it if we wanted to do anything as an organization outside of a defensive-first, run-oriented football team, which there's not a ton of anymore in the NFL. But he's got a chance to be special, like an Adrian Peterson, like Todd Gurley a year ago.